Okay. So I roll the die to find the numbers. So I do need to put my name on this though. And I do need to put what period I am. Okay. So we're going to go work it out now because we've done several of these rule things. Okay. We're going to use this new rule to complete the table and get the coordinates that if they wanted us to graph, we would graph. All right. What are my color options? Red and blue. Should I see any black arrows, black writing, purple, green? Unless I'm using it, should you be using it? No. Okay. So we've done these rules before. What am I going to put in this work section for the first row? What am I going to put in the work section for this first row? Exactly. I don't put the Y though. I'm going to put 3 parentheses 0 plus 1. Okay. To save our time, what are we going to do now? Okay. We are going to go ahead and copy and paste what we already have, and then we'll go back and change it. Okay, so, because I don't want to rewrite it all the time, right? Because what's the only thing that's going to change from one level to the next? What's the only part of what I typed that we're going to be changing from one level to the next? Let's say it that way. What piece of what we just typed are we going to be changing? What I typed has an X on it? I don't think what I had typed on it has an X on it. No, the multiplier is not changing. The 3 is not changing. What is changing? If I look at this, it says 3 parentheses 0 parentheses plus 1. What piece of that string am I going to change for the next level? To what? If I'm going to change the 0, where is that 0? That's what I'm asking, the location. Okay, the number between the parentheses. Thank you, Jay. Put it in the public chat though. Okay, so we're changing what's in the parentheses to match the X that people were bringing up, okay, for each level. So the next level changes, oops. The multiplier does not change. The X changes, okay? So the value for X in the parentheses gets changed. The value for X in the parentheses gets changed. So go do that. Right? So all we're doing is changing what's in the parentheses to match what X we're doing, right? Is everybody okay to there? Is everyone okay to there? Anybody have any questions from there? We've done quite a few of these. Okay, so I need you to get all those done, right? Just like I did. Now we've got to talk about what comes after. What are we going to put after the plus 1 part? What are we going to put after the plus 1 part? We're going to do our work, right? So equals, and then we put our math. We do the math. What is 3 times 0? What is 3 times 0? 0. So this says 0, oops, 0 plus 1. Now, where am I going to put my answer at? Where am I going to put my answer? Under the Y column. So what am I going to put under the Y column for the first one? 1. Okay. So what's my next work look like? What's my next work look like? Someone tell me. Next work is not going to be 3 plus 1 yet. Is it? Oh, it is. 3 plus 1. Answer 4. Okay, are we good? I'm just going to go type mine in. You're going to go type yours in. Okay? 3 times 2, 6 plus 1. 3 times 3, 9 plus 1. 3 times 4, 12 plus 1. I'm going to go back, put my numbers. 7, 10, 13. Anybody lost? This is straightforward stuff. We've done this before, right? Lots of times, right? I expect to see complete work. Do we understand? Okay. So this tells us coordinates that we could go graph if we wanted to, or if they asked us to. We could go graph, but we're not going to be asked to graph. We're just going to be asked to list the coordinates. So someone tell me the first coordinate that we would use. Yes, keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay, other people should be answering, not just Marissa and Christian. This is just making the coordinate list. Listing our X and then our Y in the parentheses. So that in the event you get something on a worksheet or on a test or on a whatever, you are ready to graph it. See the work I expect? Anybody have questions about the work I expect? Okay, so I'm going to share and we're going to roll again. Okay. I'm stalling for a couple people that I see finishing up that table. Okay, let me share the die again. Here we go. And it rolls. The multiply is a 5. Upper right. Okay, next one. The add is a 5. Oh, the add says minus. This is a -5. Ooh. Okay. So that makes my equation 5x minus 5 y equals 5x minus 5. Okay, because I noticed in this box, there's a minus symbol. Okay, so let me share back that worksheet because I just talked about the worksheet and you didn't see it. Okay, in that box says minus, so that's why it's a -5 after the plus sign, because they told us in the box that it's a -5. Okay, so what is my work for the first row going to look like? Now that we have our rule, y equals 5x minus 5, what is our work for the first row going to look like? Yes, 5 parentheses 0 minus 5. And we're going to go copy and paste that to the other 4 rows and then come back and fix it, right? Because we want to work smart, not hard. Okay, so what piece in each of these is going to be changing up? Where are we going to change up? What location? What location is going to be changing up in each of these levels? What location in each of these levels is going to be changing up? The number in parentheses, exactly. And we're going to be changing up that number in parentheses to be what? Where do we find the stuff we change the parentheses to? On the left side under X. So I'm going to go change up those. So this is going to change to 1 because I see that next to my number, there's a 1. So I have to put a 1. I have a 2 next to this one, so it has to change to 2. 3 next to this one, so it has to change to 3. 4 next to this one, so it has to change to 4. Everybody okay to there? Any questions? So now we got to go do the work. What's this first row going to say? Show me what's the work going to say for this top row. 0, take away 5, exactly. And then over in the Y column, we're going to put what that equals. What is 0, take away 5 worth? What is 0, take away 5 worth? -5. Okay, so we go to the next one's work. What's that going to say? Five minus 5. And that's going to be worth what? When we get over here. Okay, 0. Okay, next level. 10 minus 5. So we get yep, that's worth 5. Okay, so I'm not going to say it, I'm just going to write it. Did I do all the levels the right way? No. What'd I do wrong? Oh, 5 times 4 is not 10. What is it? Testing to make sure you guys are paying attention. So what should my answer be? Okay. Check in to make sure you're paying attention. Not just copying down. Okay, you got to go make the coordinates down below. Go make our list of coordinates down below. Someone give me the list other than Marissa or Christian, because you want to have participation points. You guys need to actually participate. Someone other than Marissa and Christian, give me the whole list from the very beginning. Okay, Tavian, very nice. One fix. Every pair has to be in a parentheses, or that's just a list of numbers. So he did a pretty good job. We just need to tweak a little bit. So it should be like Jay did, 0, comma, -5, close it, then do another comma. If you don't do the parentheses, they aren't coordinates. They're just a list of numbers, okay? So you need to make sure that anytime you're asked for coordinates, you're putting them in parentheses to let us know who is the X and who is the Y. Oops. Did I finish it? No, there should be 15. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, so I'm going to roll the dice after we go work on the second page. You are going to be finishing this offline, off Zoom. I'm going to do the first 2 here in the rules. Okay, and then I will go give you the numbers to finish up the last 2 tables, and you will be working on the last 4 rules on your own. And you have until 3:30 today. Okay, so scroll to the next page. Scroll to the next page. Okay, so everybody should be on page 2. Everyone should be on page 2. So we've done these before. Go get our lines. Remember, to make the rule, we have to figure out our change for our y's and our changes for our x's to figure out our growth first. Okay, so we have to go figure out our growth first. So if I look at what's going on with my y's, if I'm going from 12 to 6, what's going on? If I'm going from 12 to 6, because that's what that says, 12 to 6, what's going on? $12 down to 6 is how much? Got to show me the whole thing. Oh, -6. Okay. Then we have to do it again. -6 or +6 down to -4. What's that one's change? I don't think 6 plus 4 makes 8, because I have to get to 0 and then go 4 more. -10. And then this one says -4 to get to -12. Oh, is that the one you were talking about, Christian? -8. Okay. Is it a big deal that these are different numbers? No, because remember, over and over, we've been talking about finding our change of y divided by our change of x, and that's what's happening now. We have to find out the changes. It's not a problem that they're different, because the changes of x's are going to help balance it out. Okay, it's going from -7 to -4. What is happening there to go from -7 to -4? Yep, we're adding 3. We're adding 3. Okay, so this one's adding 3. How about to go from -4 to +1? -4 to +1. Adding 5. Okay. How about +1 to +5? What are we doing? Adding 4. Okay. Everybody clear so far? So we need to go find our growth now. Growth is the change of y divided by change of x for each one. So we're going to go check each one. They all have to come out to be the same, even though these are not the same numbers. We have to go check if they all come out to be the same answer. So I'm going to go look at the first one. The first one was a -6 divided by, and I want that negative up on the, so you might have to move it. -6 divided by +3. What do we get? -6 divided by +3. What do we get? -2. Okay, so we got to go check the next one, because they all have to come out to be the same thing for it to be the growth. Okay, so we're going to go do the next one. Next one was -10 divided by +5. And I'm going to move that negative up on this on the line with it. The program wants to go ahead and put it out front, because that's the fraction rule, but we're not using the fraction rule. We're comparing the changes. Okay, if I do a -10 divided by a positive 5, what do I get? Do I again get negative 2? Because that's what I want, right? Did this get me negative 2 again? Negative 10 divided by positive 5? Yes, so negative 2. So far we're getting excited, but we have to check the last one. You have to check all 3. Okay, negative 8 divided by positive 4. Move the negative up with the 8. Are we happy? Yes, because our growth came out to be negative 2. So were you okay with that? Oh, how do we move then? You have to be using this over here, this equation. Okay. You have to use this button that says divide. That's our equation editor. That lets us do the fractions, lets us do the exponents, lets us do all that. All right. So we have our growth. We have our growth. So we can start our rule because our growth goes with what part of the rule? Is it with the X or is it with the plus and minus? If I say my rule and I say growth, where does the growth go? With the X or at the back? Where does the X go? Where does the growth go? With the X or at the back? Think about it. If I'm writing my Y equals, where has my growth been going? Because what does the growth tell me? It says to multiply times the X's, right? So my rule has to say Y equals growth number X. That's how it's been the whole time. Remember we did those connections, yeah, next to the X. Okay, now we need the start value. Where do we usually find the start value? Where is start value normally? Where do we with it? That is with X equals 0, right? That's where our start value normally is. Do you see an X equals 0 on our table? Do we see an X equals 0 on the table? No. Man. So now we have to figure out what it would be if the X was 0. So we know what gets added in. And the way you're going to do that, because I have my growth of negative 2, right? And if I go ahead and I take my 1 and I do the negative 2 to it, I don't get 0, right? I don't get 0. So I have to think of how could I go about finding that gap. And the way you're going to do that is you're going to use the rule that we've got so far, and we're going to put in our X of 0 and figure out what does the at the end have to be for the Y to happen. So I am going to use one of my coordinates I already have to solve for what it would be. Okay, so I'm going to use one of the coordinates to find the start value. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So what is one of my coordinate pairs that I have on this table already? What's one of the coordinate pairs I have on the table already? Tell me one of the coordinate pairs that's on the table. Does it matter which one? No. Okay, 1, -4. So I'm going to use 1, comma, -4. Okay, to find out what does my start value have to be. Okay, the x in my rule is going to equal the 1. The y in my rule is going to equal the -4. Okay, and the part that we're solving for, the start value, let me move them down. Start value actually has a name. Start value is the variable b, which stands for beginning, which is start, right? When we begin, we start. Okay, so whenever we think about the b, that b, it's about the beginning. Okay, so I'm utilizing what I do know to solve for what I don't know. Okay, I'm utilizing what I do know to solve for what I don't know. This needs to be smaller. I got to downsize everything so I have space. Pardon the timeout. That'll work. Because I want to put this guy here. All right. So I have that y equals -2x. Okay. I'm going to have this unknown b that I'm solving for. So according to what we said, the y is -4. Our -2 is our growth. Our x is 1. And we're solving for this beginning number. We're solving for that start. Okay, we're solving for the start. Okay. So we're solving the equations like we solved equations before. Okay, first thing, what do I have to do to fix this equation? I can't leave it the way it is. What do I need to do? I can't leave it the way it is. I need to get it so it's ready for a big 0. So what am I going to do? What's the first piece I have to solve? So I can move on and solve for what that variable b is. I have to change this here. Yep, the 2 times 1. So what is 2 times 1? Still -2. So I now have -4 equals -2 plus b. I need that b by itself. I need to big 0. I need to big 0 that -2 out of there. So what am I going to do? I've got to add 2 to both sides. So I can big 0 a -2 with a +2. And if this helps people remember what's going on, oops, nope, this one. Whatever we do to the left, we have to do the right, remember? Okay, that's why we're adding 2. We needed to big 0 the -2. And the way we big 0 -2 is +2. Because -2 with +2 makes 0. So that big 0'd out of that. I need to do the math now. -4 with +2, are those the same signs? -4 with +2, those the same signs? No. So since they're not the same signs, what are we supposed to do again? Subtract and do what? Keep the sign that's on the bigger one. So if I subtract 4 minus 2, and then I keep the sign of the bigger one, what am I going to get? I'm going to get -2, exactly. So I have a -2 equaling my beginning. So my beginning, my start must have been -2. We're going to do it again. Don't panic. Okay. So we start out by doing our connections and finding out our growth. There's no negative in front of the B, it's just a B. Okay, we got to figure out our connections. Okay, I'm looking at my X's first. If I'm going from -1 to 0, what happened? I added 1, okay? If I'm going from 0 to 6, what happened? I added 6. If I'm going from 6 to 2, what happened? Move these on the inside. I subtracted 4. Does it matter that they're not all the same number? No, because we're going to go check our rule. Okay, now we got to do the other one for the Y's. I went from 5 to 8. What happened? Added 3. From 8 to 26. What happened? Added 18. Oops. And then from 26 to 14, what happened? Subtracted 12. So we're going to go do our growth now. Just like we did on the last one, we're checking all 3 fractions to make sure they all work out. Okay, all 3, so to make sure they all work out. So let me go get my growth. First thing I do is growth. Okay, that's the change in Y divided by the change in X. So my Y was a +3, my X was a +1 on the first one. So +3 divided by +1. Move that positive sign up next to the 3 so that they're on the correct levels. We got that? You okay with that? Okay, what does that equal? What's that equal? +3, because 3 divided by 1 is +3, right? So we need to make sure we do the sign because it matters. Our change sign matters because we could go positive or we could go negative. We just noticed that on the last one, we had a -1. Okay, checking the next one. Okay, +18 divided by +6. What is our goal for all these? What do we want to have happen for all 3 of these? We want them all to get the same number. Yes. In this case, we want them all to be +3. Okay, check in our last one. That says -12 divided by -4. Move that negative symbol where he belongs. Does -12 divided by -4 get us +3? Yes. So we're happy. Our growth all came out, okay, to a +3. So we could start our rule. We could start our rule. Y equals 3x. We've got that so far. Now we have to go find start value. Where is the start value if we're lucky? Where do we find start value? At what is 0? Start value is when who is 0? When X is 0. Were they polite? Did they give us that start value? Yes, they did. I'm so happy. They gave us the start value. They gave us the X equals 0. But if they don't give us the start value, we have to solve for the B, okay? So what is our start value for this problem? Start value is when X equals 0. And for this problem, that X was X equals +8. Yes, you need the sign. Thank you, Christian. So our start value is that Y equals +8 when X equals 0. Okay. So some of them, you're going to have to solve for the B because they don't give you the 0, and it's not easy to find. Okay. If you find out your growth and you could backtrack so you could make the 0, then do it like we've been doing it. Okay. But if they don't, we do them like the first one. So let's look. Second one, is there a start value on the second one on the left? Do I see an X equals 0? No. How about this one? Do I see an X equals 0? No. Do they give us any more X equals 0s? No. So you're going to need to do the work like we did for the start value of this very first one. That you pick one of the XY pairs. It doesn't matter which one, they will all come out to be the same. Okay. You pick one of the XY pairs. I do recommend the easiest one that you can find, like the 110 would be a good one. The -1, 2 would be a good one. Stay small. I don't recommend picking like the 63. Okay. I don't recommend picking the bigger numbers because that could mess with you. Okay. You're not going anywhere yet. Be patient because we have to roll the dice and get the spaces for the other worksheets. So go back to these two. Let me roll the dice and tell you what numbers are going in. I'm not going to show you the roll this time. Sorry. I'm not showing you the roll this time. Okay. So for this one, my multiplier was a 3 and my add was a 5. So my rule says 3x plus 5, right? Okay, for this one, the dice rolled a 6 and it rolled a 2. So my equation says 6x with a -2, right? So that means my rule for this one, y equals 6x minus 2. Let's try and get that right. Y equals 6x minus 2. And for this one, y equals 3x plus 5. Okay, are we clear? Do we got it? I am going to be opening a tutoring session at 2:30-ish. Watch the Zoom stream for the announcement that the Zoom for tutoring is opening. Okay. The worksheet fully completed. All 4 on the first page, all 6 on the second page. That's the only way you're getting full credit. If you only turn in what we got done, that's 5 points out of 20, 1/4 of the score. So do not leave it the way it is. Finish it. Okay. I'm going to be opening the Zoom a little bit after 2:30 maybe. It's not due till 3:30. So that gives you plenty of time to come to the Zoom if you need help to get finished. Are we clear? Thank you for your patience. Have a good day.